What's good, everybody? It's your brother, Man Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. And I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. This video is going to be about Lil Kim, okay? And I know that seems weird or just out of the blue, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about certain things that I see on social media. And what prompted me to do this video was I've been seeing a lot of people post certain pictures of Lil Kim and saying, how beautiful she was at this time, and just basically saying that how she had low self-esteem, so she wound up doing more plastic surgery, and now she's kind of ruined her looks in a way. And I always have to remind people that when they post photos like this here, that this is actually Lil Kim when she started out with the plastic surgery. So she had had plastic surgery by this time. Okay, she had a nose job. You can tell that her nose is actually different, and she had a breast. She had breast implants, so she had her breast augmented. Okay, this is early 2000s Lil Kim, and I'm glad if you look at this picture after that, where she's having her court case, that they actually do put the date on it, okay? And people are saying, how beautiful she was here in this picture. But once again, she's had a nose job here. This is when she had started the plastic surgery, okay? This is version 2 Lil Kim. And I think it's because maybe there are people out there who are too young to remember Lil Kim when she actually first started. Like, if you're not someone who was in their 40s or older, you don't remember when Lil Kim first came out in the mid 90s. Okay, I remember her when she came out back then because she made a big deal, especially within the tri-state area. So if you're from New York or New Jersey, Connecticut, or Philly, you remember when Lil Kim hit. Okay, you remember when Hardcore came out. You remember when she was doing features on different songs with the Notorious B.I.G., like Get Money and, the Players Anthem and other songs like that. Okay, people remember that Lil Kim. And this was the original Lil Kim. This is the one that I remember. Okay, you can see her here with the bigger nose. You can see her here. She didn't really have breasts. She was one of those girls who had a smaller chest, but still very cute though. I've always thought Lil Kim was very attractive. When she first came out, she's very cute. Okay, a little short, petite girl, dark skin, very cute face. Her features are great. They're fine just the way they are. She did not have to get that nose job. She looked just fine the way she was. And there were a lot of black men who found her attractive. But once again, when it comes to someone getting plastic surgery, it doesn't really have to do with how other people feel about them. It has to do with how they feel about themselves. And she obviously had a lot of issues with herself and her looks, and thinking that she had to look a certain way in order to move up and move forward, or to keep up with a certain image. So that's when she started doing the plastic surgery in, I would say, probably the late 90s, early 2000s. Because I remember, like, this is when she really started to change. Okay, I remember this moment very well because she had the purple hair. She was on the MTV Video Music Awards. She was presenting an award with Diana Ross, and Diana Ross made like kind of bounced one of her breasts because her breast was hanging out. She had this outfit on where one breast was out and it was covered by like this little sticky thing or whatever. So, Diana Ross brought attention to it and actually bounced her breast on stage. So I remember this. This is when she first had she had the boob job, and it looks like she had her nose like kind of contoured. I think this might be makeup, but she might have had the nose job then. I know once she got to the 2000s, she started having her nose worked on. Okay. And This is kind of where it started. This is where she started going towards the downward slope. I know she was very popular music wise during the early 2000s. She had a lot of great features then. She released her second album, and a lot of people loved Lil Kim back then, but this was, to me, this was not the pretty Lil Kim. I thought I didn't like the plastic surgery. This is just my personal opinion. I know some people are okay with it, and I guess if she had just stayed with this, it'd have been okay, or maybe it would have been enough. I still don't like it, but if she had just stayed here, it'd have been fine. But the fact that she kept going and kept tearing up her face and her body, it really didn't work for her. And I think it's a shame how she's turned out nowadays. Okay. And, as far as Lil Kim, as far as her content goes, I'm going to be 100% honest and say I'm not one of these people who blames her for how the female side of hip hop turned out, because at the time when she showed up and she was doing like these provocative or sexual raps or whatever, for me it wasn't that big of a deal, because at the time rap still had certain genres. You see what I'm saying? Like, you had a choice of what you want to listen to. It wasn't all the same thing. And like, I kind of compare her in that degree to rappers like NWA or Ice-T when they started out with gangster rap. I don't blame them for the way that rap went, because at the time when they came out, they were just a small subsection of hip hop. There were still different genres of hip hop that you could listen to. You didn't have to go this route. The corporations chose the direction of which way hip hop went by only hiring or only making certain songs popular by certain artists. So if you were a female and you came out after Lil Kim, you had to do more sexually explicit rap songs in order to be popular. Likewise, if you were a male, you had to talk about the drugs and the guns and stuff like that. But when these rappers started within our community, they were still just a genre. They weren't the mainstream at the time. So I don't blame them personally for the way that rap music went. Okay, you could enjoy Lil Kim, but still go listen to Queen Latifah or still go listen to Lauryn Hill. You see? So it wasn't like you had options. It wasn't, and Lil Kim was actually talented. That's the thing. That's another thing. A lot of these rappers that started off in the music industry were actually very talented. Even when if they decide to rap a certain way or rap about a certain subject matter, they were versatile enough they could have done something else. And Lil Kim actually started out doing more street type raps. You even heard that more in her first album. It wasn't all just explicit sex, sex, sex. It was, she was more of a street rapper, but they kind of, Biggie wanted to market her as like a sex symbol, so they made her do more of the sexual stuff, because they said that if a man's going to listen to her rap, they want to hear her saying sexual stuff. They don't want to hear her being hardcore like a thug. So they kind of molded her image to be more of the sex symbol type. Okay. But once again, she was actually a very versatile and very talented rapper in her own right, and could actually write her own music. But, it's sad that rap music nowadays has gone to the point where that's all it is for female rappers. Every female rapper that comes out just basically just straight up trash stripper music. Washed up, tore up stripper music. That's basically all it is for females nowadays, unless you're just listening to females on the underground. Now, there's a lot of underground females who are not mainstream that you can listen to, but when black people had control of their music and control of hip hop, you were able to listen to some hip hop that has some versatility. Now you don't have that option unless you just go underground or listen to music that's not popular. Okay? Likewise, for the men, nowadays, all the music is these young male dope heads who talk about killing each other all the time. Not they're not even dope boys. They're not even selling the dope. They're using the dope nowadays. A bunch of dumb messed up in the head crack babies basically is what black male rap has become nowadays, right? So, and that's all there is. That's all that you really have in the mainstream. It's hard to find any rappers in the mainstream who talk about anything sensible. So I feel bad for a lot of young people because they get pushed a lot. A lot of trash is pushed on them nowadays. They don't have that option, and they don't have control of the industry. White folks control rap nowadays. They decide what's popular, and they're always going to pick the trash because the trash is what makes white people feel better. You can't have revolutionary rap music nowadays, okay? It just wouldn't work. It doesn't work at all, okay? You have to listen to the trash because it pollutes your brain and it doesn't uplift you at all. All it does is bring you down to the lowest common denominator. But as far as Lil Kim goes, once again, I still appreciate the Lil Kim before the plastic surgeries. I thought she was very pretty back then. She's very cute, always had been. And it's kind of a shame the way she looks now with all the way her face looks. And, I guess she probably gained some weight, but the plastic surgery doesn't help the way her body looks. Her body looks kind of misshapen at this point because of the plastic surgery parts. I kind of wish she had just stayed the way she looked before because I thought she was very cute back then. And I know a lot of guys felt the same way because we used to talk about Lil Kim all the time back in the mid '90s. All the boys loved her. Okay, there was no one that found her to be ugly. So, but once again, when someone starts making drastic changes like that, it has to do with their own self-esteem and how they feel about themselves. Everyone talks about Michael Jackson as an example. Obviously, everyone loved Michael Jackson. Women thought he was handsome. Women thought he was attractive, but he did not like himself. And that's why he wound up ruining his image or trying to change his image, thinking that will make people more attracted to him. But he really just messed up the way he truly looked, in my opinion. So, you folks can let me know how you feel about this all in the comments section. I'd like to hear your opinions, especially if you're someone who is around my age who remembers the real Little Kim, who remembers the original Little Kim and just how cute she was back then. Tell me how you felt about her back then. And, I'm sure there's guys and girls who all thought she was attractive back then. And it's a shame the way she looks now. Anyway, this is Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on a devil's back.